Folks, how many times have you wanted to say, that's not my job? In fact, Jerome Powell has said, that's not my job repeatedly to Congress and others. He says, my job is inflation. My job is full employment, stable financial markets. We're going to talk to the one and only Cody Barton, who's launched a podcast that says, that's not my job. When's Jerome Powell coming on, buddy? What's going on?
Yeah, I love it. It's super interesting, and just I guess kind of jumping right in on that. The name behind the "That's Not My Job" podcast is, that's not my job. An introvert's guide to building a business beyond yourself really came about from an idea from my partner Pace, as far as the name, and really just conversations that we have with a lot of solopreneurs. Most businesses, I think it's only about 4% of companies ever reach over $1 million a year in revenue or more. And so
Wow.
most people out there that have a business are going to be sitting in under the $1 million range. And a lot of times it's because they're in that solopreneur space. And really the podcast is there for the people that want to build out of that. There's some people that are like super stoked to, like, they want to be in that space. They like to do the things. They don't want to deal with the people and all that, and that's totally fine. And so, this is really for the people that are like, I want to grow a team and I want to, be able to ascend, significantly further past that. That's kind of who it's for.
Yeah, so this is going to be your show, right? You're the host. It's your
Yep.
thing. Who is the avatar, right? Who is the person that must check this out?
So I would say it's anybody that wants to build a business, or they're currently building a business, and they want to, achieve financial freedom and time freedom through building a business. Because there's a lot of people that they make a lot of money, but they have no time because
Yeah.
they're stuck doing everything in the business. I was sitting next to a guy at a conference. This is a Cardone Ventures event a few months ago, and he was talking about his company was doing like, I don't know, 1.5 million a year in revenue. So he was doing well. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. And he's like, dude, I'm exhausted. He's like, I work 7 days a week. The event was a Saturday, Sunday. He flew in on a red eye Friday night and then was flying home on a red eye Sunday night. And because he's like, I
Ugh.
literally have to be involved in everything, or if everything falls apart. And that's kind of who the podcast is for. As I was sitting there, I was like, man, this is the struggle that so many business owners have, is they get stuck in doing all of the things and haven't
Yeah.
figured how to get, some help with some of
You
the
know,
things.
I'm going to push back a little bit on you because I think you have a bigger opportunity than you're giving yourself.
Okay.
So when I look at social media, um, what we often see are rainmakers: Pace Morby, Ryan Pineda,
Yep.
Grant Cardone. Those guys are the sizzle.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about the steak,
Yeah.
right? And I am willing to bet a significant portion of money that there are more people out there like you, and frankly, like me,
Yeah.
than the rare unicorns of Pace and Ryan.
Yeah.
So I think you need to change your avatar, or maybe change the talk track, because I think there are a lot of people who come to YouTube or the podcast that have an idea, but they're not Pace. They're not Ryan. They don't have that sizzle. You have the ability to show them it's possible, and they should go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I see it almost every day. People coming up, blah, 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 blah. I can't do what he does.
Yeah.
Nobody can. There's like 1% of the world that could be like those guys.
Yeah.
Stop chasing those guys. Be
Yep.
Cody, have a head on your shoulders, be a good operator, be a good human being. It's okay to be an introvert. I was an
Yeah.
introvert until I did a public speaking class. I'm still not comfortable. Like you joked earlier in an episode, I think it's on video, maybe it was off, where you in a room, you're the guy in the corner. You'll talk to anybody that comes up, but you're not going to walk around. That's exactly who I am. I
Yep.
hate that. That's work for me,
Yeah. It's like
right?
pain painful and suffering for me.
Yeah, I don't know, painful, but it's certainly work. It's like, ah, it's work. So, dude, I think you're onto something. I think you've got to open your eyes. It's
Yeah.
bigger than you.
Yeah, and part of, having the podcast for me is having that conversation, and the first few episodes I kind of talk about, people that are an introvert and, how they can still do really well in business. And, that was one of the things that, used to frustrate me in my early 20s was all of the content, and it's still really all of the content now is sales and marketing, how to be the best salesman in the world, closer, I'm a closer, closers, all these clubs for closers and
Right.
marketing gurus. And, and it's like, that's like the whole narrative everywhere on Instagram. And it's like, what is,
Exactly.
that's everything. And it's like, cause it's the like sexy stuff. And so I'm super curious to see, how the podcast grows, because the stuff I talk about are the things that actually need to be done in a business for it to grow to the levels that people actually want to grow to.
Yeah.
And giving hope to the people that are like me, that they don't naturally want to do sales. They don't naturally love marketing. I love the data side of marketing. I like
Right.
looking at the ads performance. I like looking at the metrics and then how to, what things did we tweak and the analytics. Like I like that, but like creating the ads and the hooks and that, I'm like, it's not interesting to me. But that's, so what I want to be able to do is like give that encouragement and show people that, what could be possible, even though they're not Grant Cardone, they're not a Pace Morby, they're not a Tony Robbins or a, Ryan Pineda. It's like those big, big bolsterous personalities that are just
Hmm.
these, magical, fairy tale figures to some people. It's like we
Yeah.
don't have to become that to be super successful, make a lot of money, create a great life for yourself. And so that is a big part of the conversation as well. And where I'm going to do definitely a good amount of episodes on my own, but then talking with other visionaries and integrators within different companies about kind of that dynamic, and how valuable those people are, because a lot of people don't understand what the value is, of what some of their skills are. And there's a lot of people that think they need to become that sales or marketing wizard. Otherwise, they're
Yeah.
going to fail and make no money and they're never going to be successful. Like that's kind of the narrative.
Yeah. No, and that's why I was trying to push back on you. I'm glad we're here. The rainmakers, the sizzle makers, they get a lot of the press or the clippings.
Mm-hmm.
But I think even I've heard Ryan Pineda say this. I'm going to assume that Pace would say it, and even Grant would say it at some level. Without the operators behind them making it go, and I think I've heard Ryan say he doesn't start a business until he has the operator, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
he knows he could be the rainmaker and make everything go at the top of the funnel. But unless you have an operator watching the income statement, watching the balance sheet, cash flow statement, the stuff blows up,
Yeah, it
right? So,
does.
and the operators are frankly the linchpin that, you know, you're that guy, dude. Go make that sexy. You could make that job sexy for a lot of people.
And that's what I'm hoping to do, and I don't really want to plug it too much, but later this year, because this is something Pace has been pushing me, is like I'm working on putting together like an integrator academy where these people have a place to go to learn a lot of these skills. And that'll be something eventually down the road, later this year, beginning of next year, that we'll put together. But it's for that kind of same reason, like you're saying, is these people just don't have an outlet. And like for me, for example, there's one group that I found, I've read so many different books on different parts of operations and team building and leadership. And obviously there's leadership conferences and different things that you can go to. But on the operation side, there's one group that I was a part of, which was an amazing group. I was super happy in the time that I was there, and it's called the COO Alliance. And they only allow either COOs or kind of like second in command people within, companies that are at least doing 5 million a year or more. What about all of the people doing like hundreds of thousands up to under 5 million? It's like
Yeah,
that's like mid-market businesses at 5 million plus to 100 million. It's like, what about all those other people, which is most of the population in
I
business is
agree.
sub 5 million? most of it's sub 1 million. And so that's the group of people that, I want to be able to have a community, and because there wasn't one for me, and it's lonely too. It's like it's extremely lonely because you're this, integrator or this operating person, and you have this like, crazy out there visionary that's like squirreling out all over the place, and like you're trying
Squirrel,
to like,
squirrel, squirrel.
yeah, and you're trying to just put all the pieces together to make
Oh
all of the
man.
things work. And so it's a very and from Pace, like he's super grateful and like always expresses his gratitude to me, but it's very thankless in a lot of ways, of what we do. So wanted to make sure to preface that, because like Pace is always,
Oh yeah.
acknowledge his gratitude for our relationship, as I do to him. So, we have that, but it's like in the world outside of it, it's like, where people just don't know who you are, like the impact that you're, actually bring.
Yeah. Again, dude, I think you're onto something. I think this is a hole in the market. Your example with the COO Alliance is on point. There are lots of people, whether they be introverts or operators, that aren't getting in the sun, right? They're hiding in the shadows. And I see you showing them where the light is, and it's absolutely needed. So, where can they find this amazing thing?
So the podcast they could find either, Spotify, iTunes. That's not my job. Or, on my Instagram, if you head over there to Cody Barton Official, you can find it on there as well. And coming out with a new episode every week right now, either, with myself or special guests that are, either high level operators or those crazy visionaries where we talk about the dynamic of their operators or integrators in their companies.
Awesome, buddy. I appreciate it. It's gonna be fun to watch you grow and spread your wings. But congratulations.
Appreciate it.